Happy video day, guys. Christina, Brooke here. Today we are doing a first impression on a foundation. I like to do these first impressions where I will do a whole wear test and really try out a foundation for you, just because I feel like foundations are so hard and it's really nice to kind of just get a real grasp on how they feel. So today we're going to be playing with the new Makeup Forever HD foundation. So this just released. They used to have the original one. I own the original one, so I can give you guys kind of like a little 411 on the differences between them. So we're gonna go ahead and try this foundation on today, wear it for the entire day. Today is a long day. I'm really gonna be able to test this out for you. I'm also gonna be taking photos today. I will also be able to see how it looks in photography, which is super important, especially when the foundation claims to be HD. So anyways, let's go ahead, let's get into some details, then we'll get into the wear test and I'll give you guys my final thoughts at the end. All right, so before we go ahead and jump into the wear test and I show you guys me applying this, this is the new HD Skin Undetectable Long Wear Foundation from Makeup Forever. It's retailing for $43 US. They've got a lot of shades online, so there's definitely a lot of shades to pick from. So on the claims, it does say it's an undetectable liquid foundation, which I kind of like that wording because I do feel like it kind of smooths into the skin. Blurs and covers imperfections, and it has an up to 24-hour wear, which I don't know who wears their foundations for 24 hours, but that sounds really interesting and also kind of scary. But it is a micro skin system that syncs with the skin for a true to skin finish. So that's really cool. Normal, oily combination. It has a medium coverage with a natural finish, and I am very excited to show it to you guys. So just for context, I am in my late 30s. I do have pretty sensitive skin. I have a combination skin, sometimes dry, sometimes oily. Getting now into the summer, I would say a little bit more on the oily side than the dry side. But one thing that's really for certain is my skin is very sensitive. So we're gonna go ahead and apply this. I'm crossing my fingers that it works well, and let's get into that right now. All right, so we're doing the wear test today of the HD Makeup Forever foundation. So this is the new launch. I got it in the color Y315, which is 2N26. I don't know, they say two different numbers here. Which one is it? Do you guys know? I have no idea. The foundation looks like this, so it's a really cute bottle. I love the original foundation. So I have this one. This is such a good foundation. I use it every time I have photography. If I'm gonna be in any type of imagery, I always grab for this because it just looks so good in photos. So anytime something says HD, it's supposed to not give like that glare or flashback in photography. So it's really good. So if you're doing like a wedding or anything like that, these are great foundations to use for the brides. So I've been using this one for a few years and I really like it. So when they came out with the new version, I was like, okay, I gotta try that. I don't think they sell this anymore. Do they sell the original? Tell me down below. I think they don't. They don't. I think they replaced the original with this one. So I'm excited to give this a go. So it looks just like this. So you guys can see, I like the casing. It's really pretty. Let's go ahead and go in with the foundation. We're gonna put one pump. Hopefully that's a good color. I think it is. Ooh, I think that's gonna be a great color. So let's try a sponge on one side with a brush. So I did prime my skin with the Rare Beauty. This is a primer. Love this primer. And I used my Murad Hydration lotion. This is the best for my skin before I put on this foundation. So it is basically prepped with skincare. So we will definitely see results here. Now I think the original, I remember it being pretty liquidy, but this one seems almost a little bit more liquidy than the original. Am I wrong with that? But I do feel like it's a little bit more liquidy. So that was one pump, and I think it did a really good job. Yeah, my skin looks nice and clear already. You know, I kind of like this with the sponge. Yeah, I think we're just gonna keep on applying with the sponge. I mean, you could probably use a brush. Maybe the next time I'll try it with a brush. But since today I have a fashion video that I need to film and I have to take some photos, I just want to make sure this looks really good. And I do think the sponge is really making it so even that I love the application right now with the sponge. And the brush might make it look a little heavier. So I'm just gonna put more on the cheeks where I have my blemishes and just dab it in. Probably no more on the forehead. A little bit more on the nose where I have a little bit of sun damage. Always bring it down your neck, especially if you're gonna be in photos. All right, so this is what it's looking like. I think it actually looks really good. In person, I like the way this looks. Now, I don't remember, I did see some videos, I can't remember what people said about this, but I will say one noticeable difference is I do think it has a little bit less coverage than the original. I feel like the original, I got a little bit more full coverage, but that's okay because I will cover any little noticeable imperfections with my concealer. But I do like the way my skin looks. My skin looks a little less heavy than the original. The original I feel like did make me look a little heavy. All right, let me go ahead and put on my concealer, the rest of my makeup. I'll show you guys the final look, and we will be wearing this the entire day, so there'll be a wear test. So let's do that. All right, so here is my face of makeup. I finished it all off with Patrick Ta on the eyes. I'll be having my 5-day challenge. This is my 5th day look. And I really like the way that this makeup looks. I mean, I powdered with the Rare Beauty loose setting powder. I will say, I actually feel a little dewier. Actually, do I? Actually, you know what? I do feel dewy, but I will say the original formula I feel made me feel a little greasier than I feel right now. So I don't know, I personally think I'm liking this new formula better. So I'm going to wear this the full day. I think my forehead wrinkles, they look really good right now. This is a thicker foundation, but I guess since it's so liquidy, it kind of like smooths over the skin. I think mature skin could definitely get away with wearing this because it's not going to get into your wrinkles, and it looks really good. It looks amazing on camera, and it looks pretty damn good in person too. Like I think I'm like, wow, this looks pretty good. And it looks really good in person. Like I would wear this like to an event or something that I need to have a little bit more makeup on, because it does look like I've got makeup on. You know, this is a little bit more makeup than I personally would wear like for a daily occurrence, but for sure for like an event, this looks amazing. It's so, so pretty. I'm gonna see how this works in photography, and I'm gonna wear this for the entire day. So I'll give you guys a lot of follow-ups at the end of the night. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys in a few hours. So, all right, so you guys saw the application, the details about the product, and quickly I'll give you guys some first impression thoughts. Then we'll get into our wear test. First thing I have to say, I love the way my skin looks right now in person. I do feel like I have a little bit more makeup on than I typically would wear, but I think that this really did sink into the skin. I don't feel like it's going into my lines. Like my forehead looks so good. My lines here, everything, it just looks really perfected. I really hope this looks great in photography, because if it does, this can become my next, like, when I'm going to do photo shoots or when I'm going to do even camera work that I want to look perfected, this will be the foundation I will reach for if it continues to stay the way it looks right now. So I will be giving you guys some check-ins, let you know how it worked out throughout the entire day, and let's get into that right now. It's gonna be 10 o'clock at night, so I started this video pretty early and it's already gonna be 10. So I think we're gonna end it here. So I've had this on since, what time was it? Noon? And it's 10? What's that math? Who knows? Anyways, it's a long time. I think it's been 8 hours, but here is what it looks like. I actually think it doesn't look that bad. I mean, look at that eyeshadow is still going strong. That Patrick Ta palette is kind of insane, but the makeup actually looks pretty good. I've had it on for a really long time. And look, I've got to give this credit. I've been outside a lot doing photographs. It's hot, it's humid in Miami. I was sweating. I changed into 5 different outfits. I did a video of fashion and literally been working until probably like 6 o'clock. And then after that, I had dinner, got everything ready. So this makeup has held up. It's not perfection right now. I could still, I could start seeing everything coming through. But what I do like is it never really looked heavy. It never got into lines. It always looked really flawless. And I'm gonna show you guys some photographs so you guys can see them come up. The photography, amazing. And videography, amazing. So my fashion video using this foundation looks phenomenal. And the photos, there was no flashback. My skin always looks super even. So this is definitely going to become my fashion photography, or even like anytime I'm going to be at an event that I need to take pictures. This is the foundation I'm reaching for. Gives me a nice medium coverage. It does really, really good in photographs, no flashback. You don't look like you have like too much powder on or anything like that. So I love it for that. Am I gonna wear it every single day? Probably not, just because to me it's a little thicker of a foundation, not in consistency, but in coverage than I like. So I will still stick to probably my Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin for every day, mixed with a little bit of cream. But I do think like for my event makeup, this is kind of like has as dramatic as I get, you know? And I think it's fantastic for that. So I think everybody should have like their daily foundation, their event foundation, and maybe like their very, very like minimal makeup foundations or CC creams. And I think this one's a great event one. I think it did a great job. So I like this. Let me know down below if you guys have this foundation, if you like it. And I will say, I actually like it more than the original, which I think some people like the original more. I actually think I like this one more because I feel like I got less shiny throughout the day. And the original one, I would get more shiny, but the original one gave me more coverage. So I guess it depends on what you're looking for. So anyways, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe if you haven't already. And I will be wearing this more often. I'll give you guys some more final thoughts after, you know, a few months or a month or so of wearing it. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.